A solitary cave explorer. Stuck in an S-channel. Body twist. Weak breathing. Those silent eyes are facing death. Will he be able to get out of trouble safely? This is today's cut. The mysterious garden cave that would have to say. Adventure event to October 7th, 02. This is South Dakota. The most common day in Montenegro. 3 cave explorers in Mystic Garden Cave. Marked entrance. Get their gear ready. This is a set on private land. A relatively unknown cave system. Mark Jennings is a man about 1.88 meters tall. Veteran explorer with strong hands. Year-round rock climbing and drilling through narrow terrain. Develop a tough physique. He checked the headlights, batteries, and mapping tools. 2 people traveling together. They are all experienced explorers. Water in backpack, energy bars, and additional mapping equipment. The focus of this mission is to explore and paint the cave. A newly discovered potential passageway in the deepest part. 3 people entered the Mystery Garden Cave at 9:15 a.m. The original passage was spacious, enough to walk upright, but that luxury quickly disappeared. With deepening, they entered a series of increasingly narrow slabs. Attached channel. The body moves slowly almost against the ground. After 40 minutes, the trio arrived at what was previously believed to be a cave. A small chamber at the end. The ceilings are low. Those who push have to always bend over and move forward. In the farthest corner, it is only noticed when you deliberately look for it. A small opening, marking traces of previous excavations. In previous expeditions, they concentrated on widening the gateway, just enough for one person to squeeze in now. The end of this passage is a new area that is completely unmapped. Although being tall poses a challenge to cramped spaces, Mark still volunteered to be the first to enter. He has developed over the years the skill of dealing with extremely cramped environments. He calmly examines the channel size. After careful observation with headlamps, take off your helmet and put it by your side. The passage ahead is extremely narrow, about 23 to 25 centimeters high, a few feet. You can also see a clear right turn. Marco on the ground. First push the helmet into the channel, then compress the body step by step. Arm in first, then the head. Be more careful. Squeeze your shoulders into the passage. Ice cold rocks up and down against the body. Suck his body temperature directly. The passage is so low that it is impossible to look up at all. He could only tilt his neck slightly and look forward. This posture causes immediate and severe discomfort. After entering the channel for about 1.8 meters, Mark hit the first major hurdle. A right turn at an acute angle of 90 degrees. This turn, it requires complex physical adjustments to pass. He stretched out his right arm and rounded the corner. Twist the upper body at the same time. Ritual shoulders in the direction of its passage. Every movement makes his clothes and rock walls. Friction generates great resistance. Must be overcome by sheer muscle strength. He starts to control his breathing. Slow rhythmic rare earths. To cope with body consumption and the psychological pressure from the stone walls in all directions. After passing the first turn, he saw another sharp turn ahead. This time it's a left turn. Form an S-shaped structure. It's this structure that's going to kill us. And he twirls forward with determination. Adapt to changes in the track. The second corner is more difficult. Mark took off his boots. Push it forward. In exchange for a few precious centimeters of space, the rock scraped his sock-clad feet. Little by little he moves forward. After the S-turn, the passage suddenly slopes upward. It leads to a small chamber, just enough to sit down. This discovery gave him a temporary sigh of relief. They found a new channel. It is possible to draw. The project is of great significance. Mark is relatively spacious here. Take a break in the space. Calm breathing. Then start thinking about how to go back. He needs to go back to the passage head down. Return the S-shaped channel in the same way. The problem arose when he was about to return. As he heads down the slope back into the passage, just entered the first corner, he immediately sensed that something was wrong. The angle of entry in this direction is more awkward than expected. The body that had successfully bypassed the curve, it's stiff now, refused to make the necessary reverse twist. His legs, it's particularly hard to repeat the previous movements of the upper body. After 15 minutes of trying to return, Mark realized for the first time that something was wrong. No matter how he changes his position, he can't get his lower body through us. The second bend of the type. Every failure takes effort. It increased his heart rate, aggravated breathing. In a narrow passage, these physiological responses bring more intense psychological oppression. He felt as if the passage had become narrower, although he knew it was just an illusion. This claustrophobia, it started to creep in his mind. Mark's two companions, it was still in the small cave outside the excavation, perceived that Mark had not progressed for a long time. Start to feel uneasy. They could barely reach his outstretched hands. They tried to tug at his wrists, let him cooperate with the push leg out, but the angle is completely unfavorable. They can't pull effectively at all. After an hour of fruitless attempts, the reality is getting clearer. Mark is completely stuck. Can't move. You can only move up to 60 centimeters before and after. His posture is particularly worrying, lying on his stomach, arms forward, legs straightened behind. The torso is also due to the first bend of the S-shaped channel, and seriously distorted. This complete incapacitation triggered the most primitive fear fluctuation. Mark must continue with willpower. Suppress this fear. Low temperatures in caves. At first, it can also relieve fatigue caused by physical exertion, but maintaining heat as he becomes incapacitated. This cold quickly becomes a physiological hazard. His body clings to the limestone. The ground and the top cannot generate heat energy. The risk of hypothermia is increasing. After being trapped for 2 hours, his partner made a difficult decision. One person stayed at the scene to accompany the horse. The other starts the 40-minute return journey. Go to the ground and call for rescue, thinking that he might grow. Time is trapped in this state. The fear that welled up in Mark's heart, even more than physical discomfort. Time is lengthened in the dark. Every minute feels like hours. Mark can only rely on slow, rhythmic breathing to maintain sanity, trying to save energy and suppress anxiety. 4 hours later, the first rescue force arrives from Pahasapa Cave. Several local cave experts from the rescue team, they have cave rescue training, brought the necessary supplies. Communication lines are used to maintain contact with the ground. Food, water, heating sticker. The most important thing is the tool for broadening the channel. There were huge challenges from the beginning. Even the smallest rescuers, I can barely reach Mark's head and a hand. It's very difficult to do it technically. Main tool electric hammer. It can only be used in extremely awkward positions. Efficiency is greatly discounted. Every time the rock is removed, only small progress, calculated in millimeters. Every time the rock breaks through, the rescuer will try again to pull Mark's wrist, and he combined to push back with his legs. However, these attempts failed one after another. Every failure builds up psychological stress. By the 10th hour, now Mark had entered a crisis phase. Low temperature dehydration. The superposition of mental stress triggers uncontrollable tremors, body cause, increased pain due to constant friction and delay, especially the hips and shoulders. The pressure point has become a deep residual injury. Rescue workers noticed that the hypothermia was worsening. So speed up. Put more heat pads and first aid tanks stuffed around the body part they can reach. Rescue work continued in shifts throughout the night. The noise from the drill, deafening in a confined space. The air is thick with rock dust, irritating Mark's eyes and lungs, but not a small piece of limestone. It means they are one step closer to freedom. At the 15th hour, rescue workers finally removed part of the rock at a key location, allowing Mark to lift his knee slightly. This is him for more than half a day, changing posture for the first time. This tiny advance, injecting him with renewed determination to persevere. October 8, 2022 at 5:45 a.m. After being trapped for 18 hours, the final pull attempt was successful. Rescue workers pulled the sling around Mark's wrist. He feels his body. Finally marked the widened section of the channel. After such a long period of inactivity, the one who regains mobility. There was intense pain in his body. Prolonged, stressed muscles twitch violently. The damaged skin is pulled again and slides over the rocks. After arriving at the small move outside the S-line channel, rescuers immediately used emergency blankets, wrap him up, and give him warm water. Although these 18 hours have been a torturous hell, but getting out of trouble is just the first step. The process of returning to the ground takes twice as long as normal. When Mark finally came out of the hole in the early morning, see the sun at sunrise, he is no longer in the cave. The person. This experience forever changed his perspective on confined spaces. Those passageways used to be just a little difficult to climb. Now in his eyes, it has become a trap that must be feared. That's the end of today's video. See you next time.